are here to give you advice.
Unqualified advice.
I'm not necessarily here to comment on the quality of the advice, just that it's gonna be advice.
That's true.
Let's get into our first question of the evening. Chat. Alan, you gonna be good with that pointer? Am I gonna have to take that away from you at some point? Okay.
Maybe. Who's to say?
All right.
Let's kick
What
it
do you want to answer questions about? Can't bring him anyway. Thinking of adopting an octopus, what are your thoughts and name ideas?
Interesting.
My immediate thought, great idea.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Do it. Octopi are one of the most intelligent aquatic creatures. They are also known to be able to fit through pretty much any space, regardless of their own size.
Get tiny holes for it to go in.
There is an entire TikTok series about a father and son who wanted to adopt an octopus, and they did. So octopi can lay eggs, yeah. And normally they are normally they're unfertilized eggs. This octopus laid 50 plus eggs. They were definitely fertilized eggs.
All of them?
All of them. So now they have like 50 because nobody wants the octopus that they have. What is a herd of octopus called? A squadron? They have a squadron of octopi.
A dream come true is what it's called. 50 octopuses? I'd be so happy.
Your house is an aquarium. That's all
You're
it is.
right, it is. V3 would be thrilled. And then imagine they each have 50 eggs.
Oh my God, dude, that would be the exponential growth on that.
Imagine that exponentially it increases.
I can't imagine.
My energy levels are through the roof right now. Just imagine the holes we could create. When choosing a ride to go on at the parks with your best bro or broette, what type of ride do you choose and why?
Any ride that you can fit on with your bro or broette is an acceptable ride to choose.
That's a good first step.
We learned the hard way that there is one ride in particular that a bro or broette cannot accompany.
Bros can't ride together on Astro
Bros can't
Orbiter.
ride together on Astro Orbiter.
That's true.
Not a thing that can
They
be
just
done.
can't do it. We, in a previous Advice Bros, somebody asked us specifically how to choose your carousel horse.
Oh.
And you talked about, oh my God, what did you say?
For me, it's whatever horse is beside the horse that my best bro has chosen. Proxima bro, as it were.
Proxima Bro.
Yeah, Proxima Bro.
So I will add on, does the seat fit 2 people?
Oh.
If so, then can you
you
fit
both
on the
fit?
ride? Because I do think the best bro rides are 2-seaters.
Agreed.
Not that we like to exclude a third.
We don't, that's not,
But
we
then
didn't design
bros
the ride.
aren't riding together. If it's 3 or more, everyone's riding
We're all
together.
good. Like for web slingers, for example, we have an uninvited fourth, but don't worry, we make you included.
We absolutely want them there. They get our score higher.
100%. Okay.
Guys, I need to tell you about the last time we went through web slingers.
I'm the problem.
No,
I did
you
not feel
did
like
great.
the problem.
You did great. Let me tell you though, that fourth was not pulling their weight. Alan, Molly, and I were all very close. We were like 300,000 points, right? Our final score is something like 950,000 points.
Yeah.
We were like 30,000 off of the leaderboard. Our fourth
Lump on a log.
didn't do
Lump on a
what
log.
even. All you gotta do is this.
You don't even have to hit anything. If you just
Throw
flail
it, probably you'd get 50,000 points. Probably.
for just showing up.
Yeah, participation should be 50,000.
Did you write your name on the SAT? If so, you've got a score.
Was it a child? No.
No, it was an
It was
adult.
an adult human being.
If it's a child, you get the pass because I don't know how
Of course,
children work.
Yeah, I don't understand children.
I'm not going to yell at a
Obviously
child.
not, nor blame them. I mean, I will blame them, but I won't tell
Not
them
to their face.
Yeah, of course not. I'd be like, well, it's because we had a kid in the car. Don't send your kids on single rider game rides. They are affecting the team score. What type of ride do I choose? Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Every damn day.
Yeah.
I need the tour.
It's finally getting nice where I live. The birds are migrating back. How do I keep squirrels from eating all of the bird seed in my feeders? They leave nothing for the birds. Help!
Well, I have 2 answers to this question.
I have one, and I wonder if it's one of yours.
One is incredibly informed by my upbringing.
Oh, it's not that one. Mine isn't that. But I understand.
And the reason I know it's informed by my upbringing is because my late uncle, boy, would that have been his solution.
That's how my dad feels about the crows.
The nice way is there a sort of like protective fence that one could provide that squirrels can't get through, but birds can?
I mean, there are theoretically squirrel-proof feeders.
Oh, then that.
I have a third answer. This is a YouTuber by the name of Mark Rober. He has done 4 editions of the squirrel maze.
If they want the bird seed, they will first need to pass through what is basically an 8-part Ninja Warrior obstacle course for squirrels. This course is extremely challenging. It is not for the timid of heart. But out of the gate, I will admit that in hindsight, that I completely underestimated my adversary.
I will say that Mark eventually basically said like, hey, they're gonna get there, but I'm gonna make it harder for them to earn it. Like only the real troopers are gonna get it, and if they get it, then they deserve it.
You are an engineer who has worked on a Mars rover.
Yeah.
And you're like, I must admit defeat to the dedicated rodent.
I can't best the squirrel.
I have to admit defeat.
I'm starting to apply/interview for new jobs. What are good answers to common questions, such as strengths or weaknesses, where you see yourself in 5 years, etc.?
I'll tell you what not to do. Don't give us any of that canned bull. That is like, my strength is that I care too much. When I'm interviewing somebody, I want you to be real and tell me some that you've been through, because you need to tell a story.
Yeah.
You need to tell me a story about a strength that you have or about a weakness that you have. And if it's a weakness, tell me about how you overcome the weakness.
Yeah, I totally agree. Authenticity is key. Do your research ahead of time. You know, what I got told when I was prepping for Disney interviews was like, find the moments where you stand out as a rock star. When I prepped for my Disney management interview, I knew like, they're probably gonna ask me a question around these 4 keys. That's knowing the values, right? And so I wrote like, safety. Here is something to make me remember the story I want to tell around safety. What should we have for dinner? Alan, what should they have for dinner?
Chicken cordon bleu. Got a chicken breast oven. Throw a slice of ham in there, along with some Swiss cheese.
Whoa.
Bake it at 350 degrees until the chicken is golden brown and delicious. Put a couple pads of butter on top, a little bit of salt, pepper, parsley, and some scallions if you want to be fancy. 1 breast works per 2 people, unless you've got some hungry people like me in the house, then it's 1 breast per person. On the side, serve some fluffed white rice. If you want to get fancy cooking that, add some olive oil and some butter after it has been cooked and fluff. A side of asparagus, obviously, with lemon butter.
Wow. You know, I was just going to be like, Italian. What are your tips and not being nervous while flying?
Molly would tell you one. Sleep.
I know some folks would say, talk to your doctor. Do whatever you need to do, I guess. You know, get there early so that you don't have to worry about the time of it all. Yeah. Make sure your gate exists. That's what I like to do.
Is there a story that goes with that?
No. Alan, I don't know if this is you or not, honestly. If I go to an airport, before I will allow myself to like go to the Hudson News or to go get food, I have to walk to my gate to make sure it exists.
That's why you do that?
Manny B. Jordan says, what should I get my dad for his birthday?
I feel like we need more information.
No.
No?
No. I'm going to tell you, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Whatever you want. I had a great idea for a Christmas present a while back.
What is it?
You know this story.
Oh, I do know the story.
I thought my dad spends a lot of time on improving his home. Previously, I had bought him some network extenders because he had some like dead spots in the home for his internet. They fixed the problem. He loved it. Great gift. Coming out of COVID, I had an idea that was, I'm going to get him some smart home stuff.
Oh.
So I got him like a couple Google Homes, a Google Nest, which is the thermostat. And then I got him a couple of smart plugs, right? To like be able to turn things off, program the home, right? I'm like, this is perfect. It's great for his home. He gets it out and he goes, well, what is it? I'm telling him about it. And I like get it set up for him. He plugs it in. He goes, hey, Google. And mine's going to talk to me now. Stop.
Not you.
He goes, how long will it take me to get to Knoxville? And it gives him an answer. And he goes, yeah, but what part of Knoxville? It doesn't even know where I want to go. And I was like, yeah,
you didn't tell it.
And I was like, okay, but check out this thermostat. I'm like, you can do all these things. He goes, I can just get out of bed and do it.
The point is,
you know, you're not wrong. And he's like, no, I can just, whatever. It basically doesn't do anything my 35-year-old thermostat. It makes the temperature go up and down. And I was like, okay, it was a miss. So I go home this holiday, right? And he makes a point. He's going to bed. Now, the Google Mini is still exactly where it was when I set it up. It's been there for 3 years. He stands up, and I see him sort of pause, and he goes, Google, turn off Jack and Jill. And like 2 lights turn off. And he was so proud of himself, as if like, I have to prove to you that I used it. I was like, wow, Dad. Maybe I'm going to tell you 2 things. One is, I don't think it really matters. And then 2, Sometimes 3 years later, they pay it off.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question, Mandy B. Jordan. I hope that was not helpful. I mean, I hope it was helpful. It probably wasn't. What advice would you give to someone thinking of starting their own business?
Jeez.
What are some of the benefits and challenges, and what has surprised you most about running your own company?
Gosh. So on the finance side of things, because that's something that I don't think people talk about enough when you go into business, is like, how are you going to make money? And then the second question that often people are like, this is going to be easy is like, how do you spend money? Which is, in fact, probably on the scale of like relevance, they are equal. Everyone's like, I just want to make money. But like what you need to understand is that a ton of that is like, how do you then spend it on a way that's effective and equitable for the company? The thing that I would say is surround yourself with really smart people who know more than you do, and don't be afraid to ask dumb questions.
Alan can tell you that Molly and I are mostly a pain in his ass because he'll be like, please God, fill this thing out. And on the third or fourth time he asks us, we probably do it.
Yeah, depends. I have one more thing to say. You need to be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations.
Oh, yeah. This one comes to us from Turkey Man.
Turkey Man.
We've outgrown our current house. If purchasing my in-laws' house is too cost prohibitive, I have questions already. Should I buy something else or look at getting an addition put on our current house?
So we're talking either a purchase or new construction. I feel like there is a third option.
Kicking the in-law out of their home. Oh. If I can't buy out my in-law's house and kick them to the curb.
They are Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And this is a Mr. Toad in-law house.
This is a Mr. Toad situation.
Max, I feel like you're too close to this.
It sounds like they were in the Magic Kingdom. They had a ride version that was unique to Orlando, and you're going to take it away.
The question that I have for you additionally is, are you going to then post a photo of yourself shaking hands with your in-laws and hang it in the entryway as a method of
So that
gloating?
every time anybody walks in, they'd be like, yo, you see that picture of Al back there?
Hey, not in theirs anymore, pal.
If I can't kick my in-laws out of their home,
And then gloat about it.
if I'm not Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah.
should I buy a different home or build an addition on it?
The housing market everywhere is pretty trash right now.
Yeah.
For a variety of reasons. But additions might not be. Assuming you have space and the zoning laws are might make for a better purchase to build on.
Hard to say. I think it depends on your financial situation and how much outgrown are you? Do you want to continue living in the same area?
A new spot also means think about this. Got to commute if you're commuting to work. Not everybody's got to work from home.
You know, there's all kinds of factors,
So many
I
factors.
imagine.
I feel like we've just made the water muddier, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know that we gave you advice. I think we made it worse.
Okay, well, we did our job.
Great. This one's from Amanda T. Art. How would you overcome art block?
Oh,
I've not experienced art block. I'm not an artist.
that's not true. I've seen you doodle.
That's not art, Alan.
I disagree. Art is anything that moves you. How do I overcome that creative block? First thing that I do is I go out and I am physically active. That does a couple of things for me. It forces me to leave the space where I'm currently experiencing the creative block, and I think that's a huge component to it, is literally physically removing oneself from the place where the block is occurring. Two, it is something that causes me to not be actively thinking about the thing. But also, I find myself while I'm in the middle of doing the work, there will be an idea that pops into my brain. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that before? And then if that doesn't work, I often reach out to this asshole and I talk to him about it.
I will add to that for me, it's often just going and trying to find something inspiring. Where's the best place to stay in Disney World during a zombie apocalypse? Okay, we're in Disney World.
Yeah.
On property.
Yes.
A zombie apocalypse breaks out.
100%.
You can't get off property.
Nope, can't do that.
Where are you going?
Well, it needs to be a secure location. I'd probably go to any of the park and command rooms, which is off stage in a very secure location where one is able to monitor all the goings on in the park.
If you can get to security locations that have cameras, that's good. I'm scared of the tunnels, I'm going to say.
Yo, do not do tunnels. None of the tunnels.
That is a nightmare?
No.
I think in general being in Disney World during a zombie apocalypse is a nightmare. I think this is too close to a theme park for me to want to be there, but I'm thinking feature animation.
Feature's good.
There's a lot of floors. It's very open. If you could get feature secured, having such an open lobby that I can see from top floors is pretty good.
Any place where you have the executive offices backstage in any of the theme parks is where I'd head.
I have a similar related question.
It's time.
This one comes to us from Molly.
Oh, I've heard of her.
If The Last of Us were real and we lived in a cordyceps infected world, what would your best advice be for survival? And how much of it involves clicker?
0. Well, 1 would be avoid those infected.
A solid advice.
Yep.
I just got asked the other day, if I was here in my apartment and saw the news, what would my first step be? The answer I gave was like, I am relatively close to y'all, and my first step would be get to y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that numbers that you can trust are probably the biggest game changer of all.
Then from there, make decisions on what to do. Do you fortify or do you evacuate? Because ultimately, in the span of a zombie apocalypse, being out in public for any extended period of time is potentially devastating. If games have taught us anything, it is stay secure until the initial dust settles.
What's the best way to build IKEA furniture? Usually 2 people. Almost always
team lift.
It says use it, and then I go, no.
Yeah. Now that being said, there are often 2 people present when I'm building IKEA furniture.
So you are following the directions.
Yeah.
There's usually me and a fish present when I build IKEA present.
That's another being
That's
present.
another being present. It doesn't usually have enough words to say must be human, although it is a drawing of a human.
It's a drawing.
It doesn't have a drawing of a human and a fish.
Yeah.
And I will echo some of the sentiment that I'm seeing in chat, which is if financially viable, pay somebody else to do it.
That too.
What are the best extracurriculars to get my 7-year-old kid into if he's really into and good at video games / STEM? Alan, nobody knows kids better than we do.
Yeah, Ada, I hear you. And you said 7, and that is meant to be helpful and provide context. But where does it sit on the height scale? There? How is there good? Is it subjective? Is that it?
I don't know.
Here's what I wish my parents had done for me.
Yeah.
I'll come from there.
Hey, relating.
What I wish is that they would have found some free entry-level resources for me to pursue within my interests to assess how interested I actually was, with the understanding that it would likely take additional encouragement because I imagine as a child interests kind of come and go. But if there's a passion and there's been expressed interest, I'm like, I want to know how that works. What I don't like about and what I feel like I see a lot, and I've had this only through hearing secondhand stories and through DCOMs. You know what? I'm going to also go through
we're learning things through DCOMs?
Yeah, through DCOMs. Through DCOMs, what I've learned are 2 things typically happen.
Hot dog.
Parents have projection issues. And
that's
they
true.
force their children to do things that they wish they could have done as children in an effort to live out their goals through their children, which in the DCOMs we've seen doesn't work out. The second thing that I've seen in DCOMs is the kid says they want to do something, so the parent then buys everything for the kid to do the thing, and then the kid realizes, I don't want to do that thing at all anymore, and that also doesn't work out. So maybe my advice is coming from a place of, don't do what we've seen in DCOMs, maybe show small bits of interest that allow somebody to explore those creative endeavors within a way that is limited, and then allows them to be hooked or not.
Yeah. You good?
I'm good. I literally thought I was just sneeze.
Oh, okay. How do I get my guy on a cruise ship when he fears the Kraken? A reasonable fear.
Reasonable fear.
Should fear the Kraken.
Should absolutely fear the Kraken.
Don't get in the water.
Yeah, don't do that.
Ever.
No.
Why have I not been on a cruise ship? Because of the Kraken.
This is why?
That's it.
So, Krakens pose a threat to a specific size of seafaring vessel.
Big ones.
Cruise ships
are big ones.
are currently far larger than any of the seafaring vessels that Krakens threatened. I posit to you that there has been no development in the size of Krakens in the last century.
How do you know?
Well, Max,
How do you know?
don't
Alan?
know. You haven't known this about me, but
Hey.
I am a deep sea marine specialist.
No, you're not. You seen one?
Yeah,
You have?
I've seen a Kraken.
How big was it?
Max, it's difficult to judge size at that distance. Now, based upon scale, I will tell you, we're looking at it perhaps 40 meters.
That's a pretty big Kraken.
Pretty big, but not big enough to tackle the Wish, which is a floating city. Now, if you get on a small ship, like say the Norwegian Jade, don't don't get on those ships. Not because of the service, but don't get on those ships because of the potential threat of the Kraken.
There you go. Size does matter.
It does.
I really want to learn Lorcana. Where do I start? I've heard one guy makes YouTube videos.
It's been a minute since I've made one, but I do have a little quick start about how to make Lorcana on my own personal YouTube channel. If you have any more questions, you can hang out in our Discord.
What's your ideal standing desk height? For context, I'm a 5'10" dude. I'm currently at 40 inches on this desk, which feels great for our heights and broadcasting.
Just verifying. 39 and a half.
It's gone down a little bit. Oh, actually, that's true. It was at 30. It was not quite at 40.
Crushed it.
You crushed it because you had a tape measure?
Yeah.
And you used a tool? It's not like you looked at it and guessed.
No, I utilize, Max, I utilize my resources.
Great. What do you do when you're trying to read, but a Twitch stream is too funny and good and you can't focus on your book?
Put the book down.
That's right. Focus on what's important in the moment. Right now,
this is fleeting.
Right now, Mofunky, you're being the person holding your phone up to record the fireworks. You should just live.
Whoa, Max. So that's an insult right there.
Wow.